Hello everybody. This is a series on SAP HANA and Docker containers. This is first video in this series, and in this video we will cover installation of basic components required for our project. Our ultimate goal is to build highly scalable shopping cart and deploy it on a Docker Swarm cluster. For this project, we need SAP HANA, Docker, and open source shopping cart called Opencart. The Opencart is a widely popular shopping cart based on PHP and MySQL. I have ported Opencart to HANA DB for this project, and beta release is available to download on my GitHub repository. Please find the link in the description below. I have combined multiple steps required for installation of different components in a few shell scripts, and these scripts are available on my GitHub repository as well. So let's get started by cloning a Docker and a HANA installation repository. So step 1, we will install Docker. So let's head over to our VM and clone Git repository. So git clone https github.com, my user ID and repository HANA Express _install .git. Enter. Okay, so we have our Git repository. It has multiple files. Docker C install is to install Docker CE or container environment. Deploy HANA Express is to deploy SAP HANA Express in container. DB HANA is to test the HANA connection, and then the other additional supportive files. So let's start running Docker install first. Yes. Okay, so Docker C install is complete. Now our system is going in a reboot cycle. So let's wait for a minute, and then we'll try to log in back into the VM. Okay, so system is back online. Now we can verify our Docker installation by running docker ps argument A. And if Docker is successfully installed, we should see no errors. And basically Docker ps -a is a command to check all the Docker containers, available containers in the system. Since we didn't deploy any containers, we don't have any right now. Now first step is complete. We have our Docker installation, Docker CE working environment. Now we will move to the next step, and then the step 2, we will install SAP HANA as a Docker container. So again, we will change our directory to our GitHub repository clone. Here, this is the script to deploy SAP HANA Express, but SAP HANA Express requires few kernel parameter changes. So we will make those kernel parameter changes, which are in update kernel parameter.txt. We will add these parameters in adc syscontrol.conf. Now I'm using nano for editing all the files, but you can use it vi or nano, whichever you are comfortable in. So let's log in there. We go at the end of the file. We will add those parameters. Control X, exit, save yes, enter. And we will reboot our system. Because once we update kernel parameters, by updating file, those kernel parameters are not readily available for the system. So it's better we will reboot our system. So those kernel parameters will take effect. Now we'll try to log in back again. Okay, so system is back online. Now we will change to our clone directory, and now we will deploy HANA Express. Well, before that, we need to do another thing. Before deploying HANA container, we need to maintain HANA Express master password somewhere. We have two choices. Either we could create a file and pass that file path to the Docker container, or we can host somewhere and pass the URL to Docker container. I prefer to pass URL rather passing a file path. So I will open another shell. We will SSH into our VM, and the file is already there, so we can use the same file. So this is the file, index.json, and we will run a Python module for HTTP as a web server. So that would be python -m http.server. Before that, we need to change our directory to the clone directory. So here we are going to run Python 3 module http.server. Now with this, we have our HTTP server running on port 8000. Now we'll go back in our installation directory, and we will change Docker. We will change our deploy HANA Express container script, and we will pass our host as the same system, which is HANA Docker s1.gem.io 8000 and index.json x, and enter. So we have our password file available on HTTP URL. So let's deploy our HANA container. Yeah, one more thing we need to do before deploying HANA container, that is we have to log in into our GitHub account. So that would be Docker login, Docker Hub user ID and password. So login succeeded. Now we can deploy our HANA Express Docker container. This will take a little longer because first time Docker is going to download HANA Express Docker image from Docker Hub, which is about 1 GB. Okay, so our container is deployed now. We can check container log by running docker logs container name and follow to follow the log. So it's a first time we are running container, so it will take longer to install all the initial scripts. Now we can see HANA is running, and the last step in installation is to create tenant database, which is XSE database. Okay, so our Docker HANA Express installation in a Docker container is complete, which we can see with the startup finished. We can verify that by logging into our Docker HANA Express container, and the way we do it is by running docker exe, argument is it, then we have to specify our Docker image, which is HANA Express, and the command. In this case, we are going to access bash shell, so that would be bin bash. Enter, and HDB info would show information about HANA database, which we can see it here. HDB daemon is running with HDB name server and compile server and so on. this step is complete. Next step, step 3, is to install PHP and required extensions. So that would be to install PHP and Apache together. If I install PHP, it's going to install Apache. Apache is a web server. So I will install PHP with apt install PHP 7.3. That's the version we need for Opencart. Install. Yes. Okay, so we have PHP. Now, since we are going to use ODBC as a database access, so we need to install PHP ODBC extension as well, which we can install with apt install PHP 7.3 ODBC. This will install ODBC extension for PHP. And so we have our PHP, and there are a few more PHP extensions we need, but we will install them when we will try to install Opencart. When Opencart will show prerequisites, and that time we will install those additional extensions. So now we are good. Now we can clone our Opencart, and I'm going to change my directory to var www.html. This is where Apache usually looks for root files, or Apache document root is var www.html, and this is where we are going to clone our Opencart. So sudo git clone https github my user and opencart.git. Okay, we will change our directory to Opencart upload. We need to change permissions in this directory. It should be writable by Apache user or a web server user. So I'm going to grant full permission, read, write, execute with 777, everything in this directory. Now, since Apache document root is pointed to this path, when we run our Opencart, it will not work. So I'm going to change Apache document root to point to upload directory with full path. So that we will do it in nano etc Apache sites enabled and default. We will update document root by adding Opencart/upload. Opencart upload. Control X to exit. Do you want to save buffer? Yes, and hit enter. Since we made a change to Apache configuration file, we need to restart our Apache service, and we will do that by running sudo system cdl restart Apache 2. Our Apache is configured. The document root is pointing to upload. We granted permissions to upload folder. Now this step 4 is to install SAP HANA ODBC driver, which, like the way we install ODBC for Apache, we have to install HANA ODBC driver for PHP. And that I already downloaded it in my home folder, so which you can download it from SAP. So let's look in our home directory. So this is the library we need, and we are going to copy that to HTML. So cp lib var HTML. We'll copy it here. We'll change our directory, and I'm just going to see what path I have used. So that would be open upload system library db and htb. It expects this folder under this folder. So quit. So we will create a directory, sudo mctr client, and we will move our library to this folder. We have to be root. Okay, so now we have our HANA ODBC driver for PHP. Now before running, we have to adjust one more thing. The ODBC driver, PHP ODBC driver library file name needs to be adjusted. So that we will do it in user lib x86_64 Linux. And here if I do ls lib odbc star, we have these files. This is the file which we need to adjust. We'll create a soft link with the same file name without the version, and that's it. So now if we run Firefox and we will run our VM host, that is HANA Docker s1.jam.io, and we can see now we are in Opencart installation steps. Continue. Now these are the prerequisite PHP extensions required. We are missing GD, curl or CURL, and zip. Along with these three PHP extensions, we need these two files, writable files, in upload directory and in upload admin config. So we will create those two files. We'll switch back to var www html opencart and upload cd. We can create file using command touch. So that would be sudo touch config.php and admin/config.php, and we will change permissions to full read write for any user by running chmod 77 for config and admin config, both of them. Okay, so we have both the files. We met this prerequisite requirement. Now we can now we will install the PHP extension. So sudo apt install php 7.3 zip. Do you want to continue? Yes. Okay, so we are good with zip. We can install GD same way. Okay, we are good with GD as well. Now curl or CURL. Okay, so we install all the prerequisite extensions as well as the config files. Now we will restart Apache service one more time because we just installed PHP extensions and they will take effect only when we restart Apache. So system control restart Apache 2. We are good. Let's go back and refresh our page. And we met all the prerequisites. So we have all the extensions required, and we'll also have configurations file writable by the web user. Now continue. This is where we are going to maintain HANA database information. So DB driver HDB, which is HANA DB, hostname HANA Docker s1.jam.io, system, the root user, the default HANA DB user is system, password HANA, let's enter one more, HANA Docker s1 at database. We will install Opencart in tenant database HXE. Prefix is OC underscore. We can give whatever prefix we want. In this case, we are just going to leave the default. And then the port is 39013. 90 is an instance and 313 is constant. So user admin demo. This is the admin user. Since this is a demo, I'm not gonna enter a strong password, and then email ID and continue. Okay, so installation is complete and we do not have any errors. It says don't forget to delete installation directory for production use. Now if we remove the installation path and if we launch our Opencart, we can see here we have the Opencart available on HANA database. We can verify our installation by logging into our Docker container by running, let's run Docker. We will access HANA Express Docker container again. So Docker exe, our container, which is HANA Express, and bin bash, we are going to use bash shell. And then we will access HANA DB by running HDB SQL instance 90 database hxc user system password, our password HANA docker s1, enter. And if I do select star from tables, okay, we installed our Opencart under system schema, HANA database schema, which is here, we see that, and we kept the default prefix, which is OC underscore, which we can see it here. There are about 150 tables for Opencart. Those all are installed now. Here we can see OC underscore like user, OC user, then user group, and so on. So this concludes our installation, Docker installation, HANA Express installation in Docker container, and it also concludes Opencart installation on HANA database. That's all for today. In next video, we will build Docker Swarm cluster and we will prepare Opencart Docker image for Docker Swarm deployment. Thank you and see you in the next video.